Well, the GEF was established in '91, and very soon after it became the financial mechanism of the Climate Change Convention. That's why we're here, and that's why we come every year since it was created. Over time, we evolved in the question of sustainability and dealing with the global environmental benefits that derive from development at the national scale to include many other dimensions of the environment. Now we are a financial mechanism of the Climate Convention, but also of the CBD, the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention to Combat Desertification, the Stockholm Convention on Chemicals and Pollutants, and now the Minamata Convention to eliminate mercury from industrial processes and from gold mining, artisanal gold mining. So we basically cover a range of spectrums, and we also have a very solid program on oceans, on water, and also on forests. So if you take all this together, you can imagine that it speaks to sustainability. There's a universality in the agenda that we've been given the responsibility to tender for on behalf of countries and providing funding to support their commitment to all these agreements and their commitment to sustainability. We come every year because we have to support, number one, the negotiators as part of our work as a financial mechanism of the convention. So there's a lot of technical work that goes behind our supporting with technical knowledge of what the GEF does, what it can support, and we also take guidance from the parties to this convention on what are their priorities, what do they want us to fund in exchange for their commitments to the Climate Change Convention. But in addition to that, we have also, as I mentioned before, expanded our mandate, and there's a lot of outreach objectives for our presence here. We have organized a number of events, including one today about sustainable cities that we just initiated with a very robust envelope of $150 million in grants to developing countries that leverage another $1.5 billion to jumpstart a global platform that now has a pilot of 23 cities and 11 countries, all dedicated to bringing environmental benefits that really start to address the global climate problem, but from a city perspective. We have 70% of our emissions now coming from cities, so if we don't resolve these questions at the municipal level, I don't think we're going to be solving the problem for the entire planet. And the interesting thing about the GEF is that we work through national governments and not necessarily through subnational governments and municipalities. But what we found out through this program is that the national governments are really interested in supporting their subnational structures and their subnational cities and even the larger landscape. So it's a very broad agenda. So it's been tough. Last 14 days with our delegation, but we hope that we are certain that this will be a tremendous outcome for us and for the planet. The GEF is no newcomer to this issue because we have been funding through our climate change support window a lot of work on cities, on urban transport. We were one of the pioneers in financing bus rapid transit systems, BRTs in many countries. We work a lot on energy efficiency, in questions in buildings. We work a lot on renewable energy. So all those lines of funding have existed with the GEF, but we never really brought them together from a city-wide perspective. And that's the really sea change that we are experimenting with this new approach to dealing with cities. So that's how we don't even know how what else we need to do in order to make this happen. But already we have several of the city-wide organizations that already exist and are doing great work, like ECLAY and C40 and UN Habitat. So we're creating this multi-stakeholder platform that will support all of these cities around the world that are very diverse in their needs, whose capacity building requests are quite diverse. But through this common platform, we believe that we can start to support a real change on the ground and support urban planning in a way that shifts local development towards a more sustainable path, which at the end of the day helps people on a daily basis and their livelihoods. It's very hard to say to someone who lives in a city why they should care about energy other than if it's more expensive or less expensive. Why should I care about climate change and the global environment when in fact not only they should care because it's going to affect their livelihoods, their needs, the ways that they live, but also because they can have a tremendous contribution to the global environment. So it's bringing the local to the global. The old think globally, act locally. They come together very effectively. We will take some time to digest all that was agreed here, because it has a lot to do with how we're going to be now prioritizing the funding lines that we have, what countries are requesting us to do. So I hope it is more now an implementation agenda, an implementation challenge than it is continuous negotiation. So if we can start to have these COPs be less about let's negotiate more and see what we can do, and more about let's really execute what we set out to do. And we are behind that commitment in our capacity as a financial mechanism. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that tremendous amount of wisdom that came from this process and try to transform in real action at the national level. And well, there are several challenges that are related to our agenda, which is dealing with developing countries, that deal with the capacity that these countries have or lack, and how can we create the appropriate infrastructure, be them from a people perspective to an institutional perspective, to really bring these players to a level where they can really contribute to the global commitment. This is what this COP was about. This was the agreement is about. Everybody has something to contribute, but I can't contribute if I'm not at your level. And so trying to bring them closer together will really enable us to work on a joint manner around the globe and for the globe and for global benefits.